My name is Jessica Rowland. I am currently pursuing my graduate degree in natural resources. I was born and raised in Hot Springs. I came here in 2014 to get my bachelor's degree in animal science. And I'm just hoping to help this world in conserving what we have around us before it's too late. And that's my main goal.
I guess I'll go back to a little bit of background. How did you get interested in the environment? Was your parents hunters? Were you outdoors people? Did you go camping?
We're big outdoor people. That's my favorite place to be, is outside. Growing up like on a farm, born and raised on a farm, really gave me an appreciation to be outside, and I love looking at all the different trees and plants and animals, and I've been all over this country and seen other plants and other animals, and that's just something that I hope everybody can see, and I want to be able to conserve that for everyone.
Well, the class is contemporary issues, and you did mention in your profile that you sent to me, and you mentioned it in your statement here, you're very much aware of climate change in the world. So I guess, what is your opinion? Is it a real issue, or is it a manufactured issue, and why? And what do we need to be doing as a society to help?
Right. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's definitely a real issue, but I think some of the real issues are not what society thinks they are. We've been reading a bunch of articles lately about species that can't adapt quick enough to this climate change with migration. That's just one example of migration. They have to migrate earlier or later because of the climate change, and then when they get there, the right food source isn't there because they arrived a day or a week later or a week earlier, and then they can't breed because they don't have the right food source, and then just cascading events on, and then eventually can, be the extinction of that species. And I think that is what kind of the public doesn't really see those types of issues. They just think the days are getting hotter.
Do we need to, as a society, reduce our carbon footprint? I think of Delta right now. There's not much you can do about jet fuel, but they have decided to plant hundreds of thousands of acres and trees.
Right.
Is there something that we should be doing as an individual?
I think just actively trying to be a little bit more environment friendly, have that mindset, but I think it's going to take everybody to make that difference. And the trees, planting trees helps sequester some of that carbon in the atmosphere. But I don't think we can ever reverse it, but we should just try to help keep it from getting worse, for instance.
What about conservation of the environment in general, not necessarily just as it relates to climate, but the administration that we have right now is rolling back regulations. Coal standards in particular in West Virginia have been relaxed to the point that it's affecting their quality of water. Environmentally, do you have an opinion as to where we ought to be heading?
I think a lot of laws and regulations are made to help just industrially to make the next dollar, try to make as much money as you can, but I think sometimes we should try to compromise between that and our environment. Maybe not clear a bunch of acres to make a new mall, for instance. So we're losing habitat by doing things like that, and then those species don't have anywhere to go, and just on and on.
I didn't ask it directly, but I said, do you think there's too much environmental regulation? And maybe not enough.
Yeah, maybe not enough.
All right, the state of Arkansas funds UAM, the College of Forestry, Agriculture, and Natural Resources. Some of that money goes to help support this graduate program.
Right.
Our local legislator, and as you've seen, they're cutting monies in colleges left and right.
Right.
A local legislator, he or she, in our case it's a she, is saying, what is the state getting for its dollar right now? And that can be as it relates to you as an investment, or it can be as it relates to the college as an investment.
Oh, as the college, there's a lot of grad students. We got like 15 or so, and I think they're all doing really good research that really hasn't been done a lot before. And I think that, that we got like a lot of duck research going on, and I'm doing stuff with woody biomass as a fuel. And I mean, I think all that stuff is very, very helpful for our environment. And then I think it's also a cool thing to be like, this research came from the University of Arkansas that we're using at this, you know, research plant in another part of the country. And I think that's good. Not only is it good for our environment, but it's good, you know, hype for Arkansas, in my opinion.
Good investment.
Yeah, good investment. That's a good word.
It's ironic you just set me up for this because you talked about your own research. Explain to me, as if I were your grandpa or
Okay.
a seventh grader,
Okay.
what it means in creating predictive equation and cleaner wood pellets. I had no idea what predictive equation means. I didn't know wood pellets were dirty. Do you mean a carbon footprint that the
Yes.
pellet leaves behind? So talk to me about what a predictive equation is.
So I'm trying to, with my research, I'm trying to create an equation where you can predict the moisture content of a log, say like a log at a plant at a mill, from just what you can measure from that butt end of a log. And that way, if we know the whole moisture content of a log, we can get it dried more efficiently. They have to be dried to 12% before they can be produced into pellets. So I'm just trying to get these logs turned into pellets more efficiently, so we can produce more of them and they can be more cost efficient for you and me, per se. And these pellets are much more environmentally friendly. They don't bring carbon from under the ground and release them into the atmosphere. So when we mine coal, we release carbon that has been trapped in the ground. And then when you burn coal, it goes up into the atmosphere. So wood pellets come from trees, and trees themselves sequester, they absorb and store carbon that's not in our atmosphere. So we cut the tree down, we make pellets, we burn the pellets, and yes, there is some carbon that goes into the atmosphere, but it was carbon that was already in the atmosphere and that tree was holding. So if we can keep replanting the trees that we cut to make pellets, it's just like this big cycle of what's already here, but we're not adding anything from mining coal or natural gas.
We're maintaining a carbon footprint as opposed to growing a carbon
Right.
footprint.
Exactly.
As an amateur forester, how do they dry these trees now? Do they put them in a furnace? Or
So they
are
put them in
done-
a-
Are they done naturally or what?
So they put them in a kiln or an oven per se, and that however, as long as that kiln's on, you're running energy, you have money into that kiln. So I'm trying to figure out how we can dry them outside, like on a part in that mill outside, so they don't have to have that extra expense of the kiln. So cut
doing it
down.
with the sun?
Per se, yeah,
Solar?
sun, yeah. So they're just outside to the weather, and we're just trying to see if it's even possible to dry those trees down. And maybe we'll find that we need to cover them, just put them under a little awning, and then that'll dry them. But those are the type of things that I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. What are top issues right now facing your topic of study?
I think just the public knowing about it. You know, for instance, like you didn't even know what in the world that was. So we kind of need to make it more known, so whenever we can get them on the market for a cheap enough price, we can get people interested in to buy them and start heating their homes with wood pellets. And then also, usually the more people know about it, you get stuff like funding and resources, but it's hard to get funding and resources when, you know, nobody knows about it.
People aren't going to give money to things they don't
Right.
know anything about. That's
Right.
what I had: funding, manpower, community interest, resources, and technology. I think probably all of those fit
Right.
you at one way
Yes.
to one level or another.
Definitely.
What are your career objectives? Give me the short-term objective and the long-term objective.
So
And we'll take it a step further. And should the opportunity arise, do you have an area of interest outside of the pellets?
I'm really super interested as far as outside of pellets of just all of it. I love wildlife. Pellets wasn't something that I was super interested in before. It was just the graduate position that was open at the time. But I have learned to really enjoy it, because at first I was like, this has nothing to do with conserving anything. But in the big picture, it really does. If we can make a big difference with people using them, it'll really help. But my career objectives, I would really love to be able to make this equation. We're not sure if we can, but hopefully we'll be able to make this equation, and then other mills, around the country can use it. I would just love to have a job helping conserve, whatever that may look like. I don't have a specific job title I'm wanting to have, but if I can just work in this industry and make a difference, that's really what I'm hoping for.
This should be the easiest, but for some it's the hardest. What is your greatest strength and your weakness?
I think my greatest strengths would be time management, being able to prioritize, probably working with others. I think I'm really good at that. And weakness, I don't really like to be turned loose on a project. I would say maybe I don't have a lot of confidence in my own ideas. Maybe hopefully I can grow in that through this graduate program, but I really like to be told what to do, because I'm afraid if I'm the one that has to come up with something, my ideas aren't going to be good enough. But I hope I can fix that.
So you like to have some structure?
Yes, definitely. I like things to be black and white.
In this industry, wildlife, you can go to the gamut. You can go to Alaska, you can go to Maine, you can go just about anywhere, Florida. How do you feel about travel? Are you willing to relocate?
Yeah, I think eventually maybe I would like to be back here in Arkansas. But right now I don't really have any ties or commitments in Arkansas. I don't have a family or anything like that. And I think it would be fun to work and go see other parts of the country.
Okay. I know it's early in your career, but here's your chance to brag on yourself. I like to call it selling yourself, and talk about your top one or two accomplishments of your career and your journey so far. And what I mean by that is, I don't care if it's your baseball career, your rodeo career in your case.
Right.
Talk about something that you've accomplished that you're proud of.
So I'm really glad you mentioned rodeo, because I have not been in this field very long. I don't have, at this point, a lot of accomplishments in natural resources. Hopefully that equation will be one of them. But I think in rodeo I have accomplished a lot, and that was really what brought me here. So it has, in turn, affected me being in natural resources. But in 2014, I went to a national competition, and I was the national champion, which I've been trying to do for years. So I'm glad I finally accomplished that. And college rodeo here at UAM, my sophomore year, I earned more points in my event than anybody in the country. So that was a great accomplishment. But my college rodeo career as a whole, I've been really proud of.
Okay, good. I'm assuming you've had previous jobs, part-time or full-time. If so, what would your employer have to say about you? And if that makes you uncomfortable talking about an employer, you can talk about a coworker. What would they have to say about you?
I had some summer jobs in high school before I got to college. I haven't had a lot of formal jobs, but as far as that job goes, I think he would tell me I was on time. I was on time every day, and I know that's important, obviously. And now I ride horses for clients, and I think I maintain a really good client relationship. So I think that's what they would say.
What would they say? I was going to say, what would they say about you? That she shows up on time, that she's got a good way with horses, that she's good with people?
I think I'm really good at being honest with them, because they pay you by how much you ride them. And I've known a lot of people who maybe they don't ride them but once a week, but they let the client pay them to ride them every day. And for instance, just this past few months, it's been so rainy, I haven't been able to ride, so I just told them, don't pay me, I haven't rode them. So I think that's integrity and honesty is what they would say, hopefully.
Why do you want to pursue this field of study? And it kind of repeats an earlier question, but here's your second chance to answer it, I guess. Why natural resources?
Because I love natural resources. I love the outdoors. The plant, all the species around us, they all have a role with each other. They all have their own ecological role, and without one, we may not have another, and so on and so forth. And I just think of all the trips I've taken to rodeo, and if I didn't have all that different land to look at, it just wouldn't have been the same. And I just want to keep that for future generations to come.
this is more of a simplistic question, but everybody's going to answer it. How's your driving record?
I think it's pretty good. I haven't had any.
Anything that would prevent an employer
No.
from hiring you?
No, I don't think so. Maybe a speeding ticket, but
The next question is a little more complicated because of Oregon and some of the other states, Colorado, have now legalized marijuana on a recreational situation, and even Arkansas now has it as far
Right.
as medicinal. So the question is, can you pass an employer drug test?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And I only ask that because it's not such a simple question anymore. And
Right,
I
yeah.
really want you to think about it as you move on in your career. Tell me the best manager that you've ever had, and if you haven't had a job with a boss, tell me about a professor that made a difference in your life, and were they a mentor?
I think I'm going to go the professor route. My second animal science professor when I was here, Dr. Jason Cater, was really influential in me even being here. He helped me set up my graduate interview, and he was really a great mentor for me here at UAM.
What was his strength?
Leadership, I think, giving good advice, definitely.
And I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Do you still consider yourself a team player, and if so, how?
Yes, I think so. I've been on rodeo teams my whole life, and you really have to, you can't think of so much of your individual success. You can't always do what's best for you. You kind of got to put yourself aside and be able to think about your team as a whole and helping everybody get to, because if we don't work together, then we can't win team-wise.
Being in a team sport has probably helped that a little
Yes.
bit, as opposed to just in a work environment.
For sure.
Use 3 adjectives to describe yourself, and at least for one of those 3, go into a little more detail as to why.
I think I'm very dedicated if I'm passionate about something. I'm a hard worker, and I feel as though I'm really good at managing my time efficiently to get things done. Being a graduate student and being on the rodeo team full time, you have to be able to do all 3 of those things. So I think that I've really honed those skills well here at UAM.
I've got dedicated, I've got good manager or manager. What was your third one?
Hard worker.
Hard worker. That's 2 words. That's not one.
Oh.
All right. What do you hope to get out of UAM besides a master's degree and a job?
Oof, that's a good question. Relationships. A lot of these professors are obviously they're brilliant in their fields, and then they can also help you open doors, and it'd be a great place to be able to come back and have references and friends here.
Okay. Name 3 requirements besides a good base salary that you're looking from your next job or next employer. And in reference, I mean things like benefits, a work culture, whether or not you want to work physically inside a building or outside of a building, if you want to
Right.
be outdoors. What kind of things you're looking for from an employer?
So benefits definitely. I think like health insurance for sure, because we all know that that's pretty expensive. That goes a long way. I think a good boss definitely, and I would prefer to work outside. I don't mind a few office hours, but I would love to have the flexibility to be able to go outside.
Okay. 2 questions, and they're kind of the same but different. Why should an employer hire you?
Well, if it's for a natural resource job, I think they should hire me because I'm really passionate about natural resources. And like I said in that earlier question, if I'm passionate about something, I'll be dedicated to it. I've had lots of practice with that because I love to rodeo, and it takes a lot of sacrifice to be able to be a graduate student and rodeo. And I think I could bring that same mindset to a job in natural resources.
You're good at multitasking?
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes.
good. A potential employer is looking at this video right now. What is one last message you would like to leave with them? And you can look into the camera for that.
Well, I think I've pretty much said everything I would like you to know, but that I'm passionate about this, and I would do whatever it takes in a job to be able to help conserve the world around us.